Hello again, everybody. This is Rocketrickj18 from the launching pad, and today I'm going to cover cards in episode 7 of my continued look at my pre-work card collection. And I say that advisedly because some of these cards are technically not pre-war. Some of them, a couple of them, are during the war, and a couple of them, several of them, are in the 3 or so years immediately after the war's end. But they're players who were definitely part of the pre-war mix of players in the American and National Leagues. So I think those are okay. And then a couple of them are later cards that were included in various sets, but they're cards of players who were pre-war, and they're interesting cards on their own. So that's what we're going to do, and this should make for a nice video. So let's turn down the and let's take a close-up look at some of these cards. So this is the 1939 play ball Ted Williams. And someone has generously included some additional information on at the top of top left-hand corner, and I think that I need to delve into that much more. This is the back side of the cards, and you can see that this is Ted's rookie year, and so this is the number 92 in the set, 1939 play ball. The next card that I'm going to show you is also a 1939 play ball, and it is a card of Luther Thomas. And it's in a SGC, an older flip, a SGC flip, and it's a 5, graded a 5 or excellent. And it's a high number card. So there's 162 cards in the set, and this is card number 158. So Luther was a pitcher with the Detroit Tigers. So we'll set those aside there. And the next 3 cards are from the 1941 double play set. And this card features Harold Pee Wee Reese and also with the Brooklyn Dodgers, Kirby Higbee, a pitcher. And these cards were blank back, and this card had been separated at one point in time, so the tape was probably put on there to restore the card to its former unity. Here is another card that I picked up with Mickey Owen and Hall of Famer Paul Wainer when he was with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Of course, he did most of his damage as a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mickey Owen, as you may recall, is the catcher who dropped a called third strike on Tommy Henrik in 1941. And Henrik reached first base safely, and this was in the I'm not sure what game of the World Series it was, but it was in the World Series, and it led to started a Yankee rally, which they eventually won the game because of that. And here is Brooklyn Dodgers, Ducky Medwick, and Dixie Walker. Dixie Walker was the brother of Harry the Hat Walker. And this is graded a 2 or good. Ducky Medwick, of course, won the 1937 Triple Crown. This is 1941. Next card is from the 1943 MP and Company set, and this card has some information on the back of the card, and this happened to be the card of Yankee great Bill Dickey, Hall of Famer, and great catcher. Who was brought back in after the war to allow the Yankees to pay attention to their star young catcher, Yogi Berra. The next card that I'm going to show you is one of the Salutation exhibits, and it is, of course, Ted Williams, and you can see from the label that it is 1939 to 1946 Salutation exhibits, and it I'm informed by Brother Stukes that although this card says 1939 to 46, it was actually printed in 1946. So it's graded VGX4 PSA. So that's and again, those exhibit cards mostly have blank backs. And next we have another graded card, and this is a card that features the Sport Thrills set, which is a Swell, a gum ink card, and I make note of it especially because it indicates down here in the Philadelphia Chewing Gum Company, Havertown, Pennsylvania. And yours truly went to grade school in Havertown, Pennsylvania, right outside of the city limits of Philadelphia. So let's there we go. And this commemorates the All-Star Game home run that Ted Williams hit in the ninth inning, and he's about to get the congratulations of Joe DiMaggio over there on the left, and I'm not really sure who number 30 is there. Let's see if we can get, it might be Joe Gordon. Again, I'm not 100% sure. So let's take a look here. Right. Joe DiMaggio, Joe Cronin, Ted Williams, Bobby Dorr, and Rudy York. So but one of those guys is not in this picture. I suspect that's that this is Joe Cronin, and again, there's only 4 players, even though 5 are referenced on the back of this. So this is the Sport Thrills card number 16, the 1948 Swell gum ink card. Here is the 1948 so-called blue tint, and this got an authentic because min size not met. Might also have gotten an authentic because of some paper loss, ragged cutting. These came out of course, they are hand cut. Blank backs. That's the blue tint. The next cards I'm going to show you are Venezuelan cards from the 1962 Topps Venezuelan set. And the rotund gentleman there in the middle is Babe Ruth. When he was coaching for the Dodgers, he and of course, as I said, this is a Venezuelan card, and so indicated on the label, which you can read there at the top, 1962 Topps Venezuelan. And the backs are kind of a sort of a purplish or magenta color. And these are cards numbers 142 and 143. And here is the greatest sports hero. And this is after he retired from his coaching duties. And so those are the 1962 Topps Venezuelan cards. And the next card that I have to show you is a roughly around 66 or thereabouts. These were stadium postcards, and that is, of course, Lou Gehrig. So these are not technically exhibit cards, they're postcards, and so indicates on the back of it here. that this is Lou Gehrig's postcard. It says Stadium Souvenir Shops, Yankee Stadium, Bronx, New York. So it could be even a little earlier than when there were no zip codes back sometime fall, probably 63 or so, 64, something like that. I don't know the exact date when zip codes, but you can look that up. And here is the last card that I have to show you today. It is a 1967 Venezuelan Retirado of Lloyd Wayner, who, of course, did all of his damage as a Hall of Famer with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I will show you. Oh, this is card number 167. And these cards are not blank backs. Instead, they have a back that doesn't look anything like the 1967 Topps cards. And of course, there were no Retirado cards in the Topps set either. So this mentions that and it was all in Spanish. So it says his birthplace was Harrah, Oklahoma, on March 16th, 1906. And a lot of stuff in there that I regrettably don't understand, but it talks about his 1927 batting average, and that 12 seasons with looks like more than 200 hits, and I don't know, just some biographical information. These cards were often pasted into albums, and you can still see some paper residue from where the card was detached from an album, or probably a scrap album, something like that. Anyway, this is the only Retirado card that I have, so I kind of got it as an example. I wouldn't mind having a complete set of these, but there's so many other cards that I want before I would be wanting to get one of those. I think it's probably not likely to happen. And the last thing I want to show you is this card. Now, I'm going to put this regular sized baseball card next to it, and you can see that they are about a little taller and a good bit narrower. They certainly aren't the same size as the card that it represents. This is a reprint, and of the 1936 Goudey Premium R314. And these were reprinted, I think, in the 1970s. They wide pens, and you could buy a set of them, and they still can, and they're not terribly expensive. But I thought it might be interesting for you to see, and to contrast with, the 5+ inch and more than 3 inches wide of the actual cards. And these are on card stock, so they're not super thick, but they're definitely thicker than the flimsy paper that the originals were printed on. So if you can't afford to get the 1936 Goudey premiums, and you'd like to have a set of these cards to look at, you might want to consider this reprint set. I have a couple reprint sets. I have a reprint set of the T206 cards, including the big four. Of course, they're not nearly as valuable because, they're reprints. And I've got a set of the 41 play balls, the 51 and 52 Bowmans, and maybe a couple others. So I just throw that in there for a little bit of extra information. So let's back up to the main screen, and I'll just say this is Rocketrickj18 wishing all your collecting dreams come true.